Hey guys, Allie here. I just wanted to take a quick second before we get into it and tell you about our new sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And first things first, it's totally free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and they do all the distribution work for you. So your podcast can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts, and you don't have to do any of the work. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's truly everything you need to make a podcast in just one place. So if you are thinking about making a podcast, download Anchor or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newswave.
Hello.
Episode 10.
Wow.
Right?
Quarantine's been going on
A long
time.
I know.
A long time.
I agree.
What are you drinking today?
Passion fruit truly.
Ooh, I'm drinking that too because why not? Why not?
It's pretty good.
Bit of housekeeping.
Oh.
Episodes are now going up on YouTube. Check us out. Newswave podcast.
Subscribe to our channel.
Click the like button. Leave a comment.
Click the link in my bio.
Just kidding. But no, if you want to listen on
But
YouTube.
like actually subscribe to my channel. if you want.
Look, listen, if you're at work and you're doing, I don't know, whatever. I don't know who's actually at work right now with a computer, but
Me.
You. Okay.
I am.
If whatever you're doing, teleworking, you're on YouTube, check it out, you know? If you're already listening.
Check it out. I mean, it's literally just the audio on YouTube.
Yeah, there's nothing crazy.
But it has our logo. We would people want to watch us talk? Like, do we need to record?
We're not recording. We're not videotaping ourselves talking. Like, that's just not.
That ain't it.
No one needs that.
They might. I don't know.
No one needs that at all.
Yeah. It's really hot here in Virginia today.
It is.
We went for a walk at, like, maybe 11:30, 11:45, and it was already 90 degrees. Hot. I finished my book today. It was called Codename Helene. I just want everyone to know that it's a really good book. And they should.
What's it about?
It's about Nancy Wake, who is an Australian who moved to France, and she was a journalist in France, but then she became part of the resistance during World War II, and she killed Germans and helped take France back from Germany and helped London, and she's a badass, and the book was actually really, 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 really good, but it was very long. For like 400 and something pages.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So that's what I've been doing.
Lit.
Not that anyone cares.
I care.
Thanks. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
Cool.
So, one of the big news stories of the week is the upcoming release, I'm not sure if it's out yet, of John Bolton's book.
Bolton. Get your head in the game.
JB.
Name that movie.
No idea what you're talking about.
High School Musical.
Yeah, I haven't watched that because I have friends.
Okay. Me and my friends used to learn the dances, so.
Yeah, you're a fucking nerd, and all your friends are nerds. Anyways, John Bolton was the former national security advisor. And
Trump, right?
To Donald Trump, yes. He wrote a tell-all book about his time in the White House.
But he wouldn't testify.
I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
As you can imagine, the president isn't a good person.
No way.
And his
shocked.
His book is chock full of silly things the president has tried to do or done.
Or like the stupid shit he says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I put a short list together. So he told Chinese President Xi Jinping he encouraged him to keep imprisoning Uyghur Muslims. So in Western China, the Chinese government is wholesale arresting and imprisoning the Muslim minority there, known as the Uyghurs, and basically putting them into concentration camps.
So he's Hitler, point two.
There's no evidence that these people are being gassed or murdered.
Please. I'm rolling my eyes behind scenes.
Based off the reported amounts of people, it would be pretty hard to hide, like, killing this many people.
Yeah.
Basically, they're used as, like, slave labor. I guess.
Oh, great.
They call them.
That's better.
They're called, quote, re-education camps, which really means
this is disgusting.
They work in a sweatshop. And our president, said, yeah, no, keep doing that. So that's bad.
Why is he commenting on it at all?
He should be commenting on it.
Yeah,
he should be saying, stop fucking doing that.
But, like, why are they talking about it?
Because they meet at gatherings and stuff. So it's not.
Is anyone else telling him don't do this?
I would hope people are saying, don't fucking. I don't even know why you shouldn't even have to explain to someone.
No, for sure. It shouldn't even be a topic of
ethnic cleansing is wrong. Don't do it. But that's where we are.
That's fucking wild.
Allegedly, he also asked for China's help winning re-election.
Yeah.
So
that we knew.
That's not surprising. A lot of this isn't surprising.
Yeah, a lot of it we were literally
went
trying
through all
to impeach him for.
We went through all of this.
This is all on the list.
But it still like needs to be. He's the president of the United States. It still needs to be like hammered home that this is fucking absurd.
I just don't get like how is the. I hate the way he went about this.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The next one ties into our story from last week about the
Love a good time.
Southern District of New York.
Okay.
So Turkish President Erdogan, he asked President Trump to stop prosecuting a Turkish financial firm, which, guess where it is? The Southern District of New York. And Bolton wrote in his book, he said, President Trump said to President Erdogan, there's a bunch of Obama people there, like people from the Obama administration.
Yeah.
And once I got rid of them, I will take care of it. So this could be why he fired him, and the Attorney General fired. Was it Berman? I think it was Attorney General Berman.
We talked about that.
Yeah. So that's
what a corrupt mother trucker.
Right. The next and last one is just kind of like stupid things that he should know. He asked if England had nuclear weapons. Hint, they fucking do. He also asked if Finland was part of Russia. It is not.
Wow.
It is Finland.
He's a moron.
Yes.
This is why I say there should be qualifications more than your age and citizenship to become
That's
a
whole
president.
nother discussion. That's a long discussion.
True fact.
So, a bit about John Bolton. Don't buy the fucking book, because this guy's a piece of shit.
Scumbag!
Total piece of shit. He could have testified about all of this.
In the impeachment trial.
And flat out refused.
So we could monetize on it now.
Yes.
He's a fucking scumbag, and we could have impeached the president if he had fucking testified, and he didn't, just so we could write this book and make some money, and he's a fucking coward loser.
Yes. He is
I wonder if people think I'm, like, screaming at you, like, upstairs.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
So he tried to cash out. That's bad. He's also, like, one of the worst. So he's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
He's old as shit. He's been around forever. His philosophy of geopolitics and international relations is fucking invade the shit out of everything you can.
What's geopolitics?
Just like world politics.
Like geography politics.
Geo means like Earth or. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sorry. So Bolton was a big advocate of the war in Iraq. We all know how great that's going.
That was a big waste of time.
He's been personally trying to start a war with Iran since probably the same time. So he just
likes war. He monetizes off war.
Not that he really monetizes off of it. That's the only tool in his toolbox.
Yeah.
It's either force. He doesn't believe in like actual diplomacy where you meet with people, you have discussions, you agree, you compromise on things.
Yeah.
His philosophy is, well, we'll just use the military, which you can't do because there's a finite amount of resources.
It's not like his ass is out there fighting.
Exactly.
That's why he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care. So yeah, he sucks. Do not buy his book. Do not give him any money in any way. Rumor has it, I haven't confirmed this, that there's a PDF on the internet. I haven't seen it.
Google that shit.
It might be out there. I'm not saying to pirate this information, but it might
like,
be out there.
he is such a scumbag for not testifying when, like, all of this stuff is true that we were trying to impeach him for, and you held back literally for this reason. And, like, that to me is just such a loser.
It's not even that he said he wouldn't show up. He said he would fight against a subpoena, like a legal order to come
to shore. Yeah.
So he would purposely slow this process down.
So fucking crazy.
Which is gross on so many levels.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so fuck John Bolton.
Fuck John Bolton.
But it is funny to hear stupid things the president says.
Funny?
I think it's funny.
To me, it's like
you gotta laugh at some of this.
No laughter from me.
Okay. What do you got? What's your first story?
Oh, my first story is Jenny Slate and Kristen Bell stepping down from their roles on Big Mouth, and Kristen Bell's on Central Park. They both play biracial characters, and they are stepping back to allow black actors to voice those characters. Jenny Slate plays Missy on Netflix's Big Mouth, and Missy is half black, half Jewish. And I'm just going to read...
Is Jenny Slate Jewish?
She is,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read Jenny Slate's statement to this. So, in quotes, she said, "At the start of the show, I reasoned with myself that it was permissible for me to play Missy because her mom is Jewish and white, as am I. But Missy is also black, and black characters on an animated show should be played by black actors. I acknowledge how my original reasoning was flawed, that it existed as an example of white privilege and unjust allowances made within a system of social white supremacy, and that in me playing Missy, I was engaging in an act of erasure of black people." So she's stepping back from that. Nick Kroll made a statement too. He's like the creator. And pretty much being like, as embarrassing as it is to say, it's completely an oversight, like, on our part. Like, we'll do better in the future. Like, you know, it wasn't about not giving the part to a black character, but like a lot of these shows that are created by actors, they bring in their friends, you know?
I was going to say Jordan Peele from Key and Peele and Get Out and all the movies and stuff. He's on the show.
Yeah.
He plays Duke Ellington's ghost and other characters. But
yeah,
I wonder what his response is. Because, I mean, he's been on the show the entire time.
As has Jenny Slate.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally never thought it was a big deal.
I mean, in Jenny Slate's case, I can understand her being like, I do identify. I am half Jewish, or she is Jewish. Right. But at the same time, if the character is going to look black, if we're going to look and be like, that's a black character on TV, I do think that the person behind the voice should look the same.
Which, I don't think that's unreasonable, but then I think we're getting to a point where it's like, oh, this character is like a quarter this, quarter that, quarter that, quarter that. Yeah. Well, now we have to find someone who's all quarter of those things. No, but
I think it's just kind of like... There's no reason for it not to be a black actor playing a black character.
Yeah.
Like, I would expect it to be, as a consumer of the show, like, I would just think...
Oh, now you're a consumer of Big Mouth?
You made me watch it.
I did make you watch a little bit of it.
Is that the one where, like, the boy fucks his pillow?
Yes.
Okay, I fucking hate that
It's a great show.
It's so stupid.
It is
and, like,
hilarious.
the puberty monster.
The puberty monster is the funniest character of
God,
any
I
show ever.
Can't. I just think that I would assume that they were black, and if they weren't, like, it's just an easy way to give more black actors the chance to be on there.
Which I think is the best part of this story.
Yeah.
I don't think like Missy's character is like offensive in any way because she's basically a book nerd. So like she's not. If she were like a quote stereotypically black character being voiced by a white person, then that's like more like a minstrel show doing blackface. But Missy's character,
I was going to say, I would have a whole problem with the character if they were making stereotypical anything.
But like she is a bookworm. Like the whole joke about her is that she's a nerdy bookworm character. So it's like it fits. I thought she did well as the character. I thought she's one of the funnier characters on the show. So that's why I was like, this kind of sucks because she. But
the character, the writing isn't done by the person who's the character is the character. It's just a voice. Yeah,
but like that, she's still acting. She's still bringing that. Character to life.
I mean, I never had a problem with the actual like watching it, but it's like it's there's no reason for it to be a white person when the character is black. There's no reason.
Half black.
Okay. Yeah, they were both half black, and I guess that's, like, why they got away with it for so long.
Right.
But it's like, not good enough for me.
Yeah. I don't think we should get to a point where we're like...
We're just not as sensitive to the fact that, like, we understand that it's not always going to be what you think, what you see on TV. Like, that's not always going to work out. But when you can, you should.
Yeah.
And there's no reason that they really shouldn't.
I think the guy who does the voice of Cleveland on Family Guy he said, yeah, I'm done.
He's white?
He's white. Yeah, Cleveland is
like,
white.
that is not, like, that's the problem.
I didn't even know.
It's an all fucking black cast show, and you're going to have the voice of the main character be white?
The Cleveland show.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. That's the problem with it, is that, like, there's no fucking reason for him to be white. Ew.
Which I never...
Oh my God, now I'm so mad.
I honestly had no idea.
Can I read Kristen Bell's statement?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
So, Kristen Bell plays Molly on the Apple TV comedy Central Park. I've literally never heard of it.
Never heard of anything on Apple TV.
Yeah, I never heard of it. But the character is biracial. And she came out, which I'm honestly surprised she even took the role, because she's a pretty woke actress, in, like, my opinion. She's very, like, she voices a lot for, like, equal rights and LGBTQ, like, all of that. So I'm even surprised that she even took a biracial character at all. But she said, "This is a time to acknowledge our acts of complicity. Here is one of mine. Playing the character of Molly on Central Park shows a lack of awareness of my pervasive privilege. Casting a mixed-race character with a white actress undermines the specificity of the mixed race of Black American experience. It was wrong, and we on the Central Park team are pledging to make it right. I am happy to relinquish this role to someone who can give a much more accurate portrayal, and I will commit to learning, growing, and doing my part for equality and inclusion." So,
Kristen, I'll be the first to say, if you want to make up to the half-black community, you can come take me out to dinner.
yeah.
Have a night
I mean, if she wanted to come take you out to dinner, I would let her, because I love Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell's awesome.
I have loved her since Veronica Mars.
It's a hypersensitive moment. People are being proactive right now.
Yeah.
Reactive to the moment.
But at least they're doing something. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I support, and then keep your role. Like, they're making moves, and this change could change the way that things are cast in the future. And like we were saying last night watching Rami.
Great show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Watch Rami.
The main character is so fucking annoying. But the
Rami.
more you expose the actual cultures of the world on mainstream TV, the more comfortable people are, because, like, what you're watching on TV is essentially, like, in your household. Do you know what I mean? Like, when people become a household name, it's because, like, you're in their homes. Like, if we have more inclusion on our televisions and on our TV shows and through characters, the more comfortable people will be, and it will feel like, oh, I know someone like that because you've seen it. You know what I mean?
Like Ellen being on TV and, like, I guess normalizing, does that have a negative connotation? Like, normalizing a gay person that you might not know, if you don't know gay people.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't surround yourself with anyone besides yourself, then you're not going to know anything else. And, like, one way to get that message out there is through
TV.
Television. Yeah, and through casting.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah. Because in Rami, so I brought up Rami because in Rami they have, like, a disabled character.
Yep, Steve.
And he's fucking hilarious. And
That's
I think that,
characters.
like, the more we, like, we're doing okay. Like, we have shows with, like, disabled, we have shows with, like, trans, but, like, it's always, like, about them being disabled or trans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it needs to just be, like, that's not who they are. Like, that's not all they are.
It's just, like,
it's like they still have every other problem in the world. Like, we need to normalize things, and I think TV is an easy way to do it, is what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's a good idea. I think they should step down. I think it's an easy way to give black actors a job. I don't really think I'm fucking pissed about the Cleveland show being a fucking white guy because it's fucking nuts.
I think it's weird. Like, when they transfer... Well, see, I also hate changing actors in things.
This is necessary.
It is, but it's attention.
There is absolutely someone who can mimic that voice. You cannot tell me there isn't.
I'm not going to break this song. But, yeah, it's...
that is just, like, that to me, him even being cast as a white guy in the beginning, like, it's a fucking black character. Why are you a white dude voicing it? Yeah. That makes no fucking sense.
I got a hypothetical. Well, not really a hypothetical, because it is a real thing.
What?
Like James Earl Jones.
Who's that?
The guy who's Mufasa and Darth Vader.
Mufasa.
Darth Vader's a white guy. So, like...
Yeah.
By this, if we apply the same logic, is
Darth
that
Vader
not problematic?
Supposed to be black?
No.
I'm so confused.
He is black. Darth Vader in the movie is white.
Oh. Okay. I was like, what?
So it's like...
So a black guy was playing a white guy. But we never even see Darth Vader.
You never see his face till the third movie, but when you do, he is white. So meaning the whole time, he's white. But James Earl Jones has a good acting voice. Like, his voice is iconic.
Whoa. So they used a black guy for the voice, and when then they showed his face, he was white?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess...
Because James Earl Jones wasn't in the Darth Vader suit. They had a guy who was like 7 feet tall and a bodybuilder who was walking around as Darth Vader. Oh. And then James Earl Jones voice acted his lines.
I'd be like, you only want me for my voice? Rude.
He almost didn't do it, but whatever. It's the most iconic movie role of all time. But you get what I'm saying. Like, where do we draw the line of, like,
I think if the character, if I would look at the character and be like, they're white or they're black, then the person voicing them should look the same.
Right. Granted, in Star Wars Defense, you don't see Darth Vader's face until 3 movies later. And then no one knows...
Do you see him in the old movies?
At the very end.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so...
Because I'm thinking, like, Hayden Christensen, but, like, those were made after, like, way after.
Right, but his character was always white, so Hayden Christensen's fine. It's not...
No, I know, but, like, I didn't even think anything else because I knew, because we watched it in order.
Right, so. People know... Like, it's just so saturated in the culture, people know that, spoiler alert, Darth Vader is Luke's father, so obviously Darth Vader's white and not James Earl Jones black.
Yeah, but, like, I watched it in plot order, so it was like Hayden Christensen became Darth Vader, spoiler, and
spoiler
he's white.
alert.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't like that either. I feel like it's kind
but,
of
like, his
exploitive.
voice is so... Like, you can't change Darth Vader's voice. That's literally the most iconic... One of the most iconic parts about him is the voice acting. So it's like...
I don't know.
Like, you're not touching...
I'm, like, not as mad about it, though. Like, good.
So that's a double standard, though.
Yeah, which but, like, I'm not mad about it being a double standard for myself.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not saying that to...
Like, white people have gotten a lot. Like, it's okay.
We'll let that one... That's the one we're going to let slide.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Cool. It's totally fine. All right, we're getting fucking controversial here.
Ooh. What?
We're going to Israel.
Okay.
People get hot and heavy about Israel and Palestine, so...
I don't even know enough to get hot and heavy about it.
All right, well, good. So, next week, Israel's government is going to decide whether it decides to annex, so take, like, formal control of parts of the West Bank into Israel. So...
West Bank is like a river?
The West Bank is a area of land east of Israel, which is... So, I'm trying to... I don't even know where to start.
Do people live there?
Yes.
Oh, it's not like jungle or desert?
Yeah. Before Israel, you had what was called Palestine, right?
Okay.
Before Israel existed after World War II. World War II happens. This is like a super abbreviated version.
Good.
World War II happens.
Uh-huh.
The United Nations supports the creation of Israel.
Okay.
Which is a Jewish state.
Yes.
In the eastern coast of the Mediterranean.
Yes.
Right. So, basically, Palestine was partitioned, split in two, basically. And the Arabs were given the eastern part. The Arabs who've lived there for years, thousands of years.
Okay.
The Israelis were given the western part.
Okay.
Up against the coast, yada, yada, yada.
They can't just, like, live together in one place?
Long story. A bunch of fighting breaks out.
Of course.
There's been numerous wars in Israel
God forbid we get along.
between the Arab countries and Jewish Israel.
Why?
It depends on your point of view. The Arabs, basically after World War II, after the Holocaust, the world finds out about the Holocaust. Everyone's like, "Well, this is terrible."
Yeah. Understatement.
Actually, it's mostly the British's fault. We'll get to that. The British ruled Palestine.
Why?
Because colonialism. It was a colony of. It was under.
It just seems like absolutely none of their business.
No, it's not. But tell that to India, Pakistan.
I will.
A bunch of other countries. Basically, the British pulled a double deal.
Ooh.
They said, "Hey, if you help us fight World War I against the Ottoman Empire, we'll give you, the Jewish people,
how the fuck
a
do
state."
you keep all this shit in your head?
This is like very basic, like.
Oh my god. Well,
World War
I'm
I
sorry,
history.
Weymouth literally didn't teach me history, so
I'm sure
I
it's
don't know.
Weymouth's fault.
It is.
The British government told the Jewish settlers there, "Hey, if you help us, we'll give you a Jewish state." And the Jewish settlers were like, "That's cool."
Great.
And then they also, at the same time, went behind their back and went to the Arabs
And did the same thing.
and did the same thing.
Dicks.
Dick move.
Dicks.
So
man.
we've been dealing with the consequences ever since. So
Yeah, so they were both promised the same thing, and then
Yes.
we're left to like battle for it.
pretty much.
Great. Yeah,
The-
that's very rude of London, and they're always held to such a high
I
standard.
know, right? Palestine was backed by countries like Egypt, Jordan,
Right. That makes sense.
Iran, Syria,
Palestine.
Palestine, not Israel. Israel is backed by Western democracies, us being the
But
biggest.
Israel won.
Israel won the initial war, and by winning, they continued to exist. But there was a lot
As
of
Israel.
as Israel. They
Otherwise, it would be we'd be calling it Palestine.
right.
Okay.
So they
And Israel's
won.
big.
it's
No?
not really no.
Oh,
It's pretty small.
interesting.
I think it's like maybe 40 miles wide at some parts. Like it's like not
Oh.
it's like not a big place.
Is there a lot of people?
Not really. There's a few big cities, but a lot of it's
Interesting.
desert. It's not.
It looks beautiful.
It does. It's supposed to be.
I'd love to visit.
It's supposed to be some of the nicest like beach on the Mediterranean. Is like
It's
Tel
like
Aviv.
literally
and
gorgeous.
then, to the south, there's Gaza.
Yeah. We
Anyways,
travel.
so the Israeli government has allowed the creation of settlements. So basically, what happens is Israelis living on the Israeli side of the border cross the border into the West Bank,
Okay.
right? And they build basically like a mini walled neighborhood across the border.
Who owns the West Bank?
The Palestinians.
So they still have like their own little spot.
Yes, but they don't have their own country. It's more
Like nothing on the map is named Palestine.
there's no Palestine.
But like technically they own it
They-
under Israel rule.
Yes, they
So if it's
administer
under
it
Israel rule anyway, then how are they having to take it back?
because the United Nations has always said that you can't just take this land. Like they split the land up and said there needs to be Arab land here and there needs to be Israel here too. So, and the Arabs were living there before. They don't want to
Do
be
they have
ruled.
like their own military?
No, they don't really function as a state because they're so dominated by Israel.
Is it like DC?
So you have kind of, I guess that's an okay.
But like at war with Virginia. Like you don't like
It's like if DC were at war with the United States. Like
Ah.
Israel has a US supplied military with like jets
that's why they
and
won.
laser guided bombs and
Yeah.
et cetera,
Okay,
et
so
cetera.
yeah, okay, I get it. So they have this little piece of land that they keep to themselves, and now
Well, not really. Israel has what it does is it can send its military into the West Bank. The West Bank,
fuck shit up.
yeah, they can.
So they just terrorize these poor people. Is that what you're telling me?
Mm,
But neither side is really good. That's why you can't pick one.
well, so what people in Palestine have resorted to is what we call terrorism, right?
But
So
what
there
I
are-
would call fighting for your land.
They would call being a freedom fighter.
Right.
They see
Because
them.
every person is fighting for the same fucking thing, just on opposite sides. And that's what we don't understand about this world.
Right. They would
crazy.
they would describe themselves as like George Washington and the rebels fighting against the British in our revolution, right?
Right.
The Palestinians. to the Israelis, they're terrorists. They launch rockets into Israel.
Yeah, because you're bothering them. Leave them alone. You already won. Like, you already won. Stop being a bully.
Yeah. So, Israel basically has allowed Israeli citizens to cross the border into the West Bank. Mm-hmm. They build these little settlements, is what they're called. Mm. And then, so now what you've done is you've created a little pocket of Israel
in that land.
In the West Bank.
Yeah, so you can slowly invade it.
Basically, that's what's been happening for a long time. Of course.
I'm no genius.
Right.
I can see the plan.
It's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
So this keeps happening over years and years, and then, we build another settlement here, and then, let's put a settlement between the settlements, and then all of a sudden...
and now we own it.
Right. Now it's theirs.
Now it's ours.
So, basically, the way this has been going on, the government of Israel can't openly condone it. But what they do is they choose to not enforce anything, so they kind of just let them mind their own business. Condoning it. They're condoning it by not doing anything.
Yeah. Like the last.
So, but now they're trying to decide if they want to officially make that part of Israel, and if they do that, that is going to start a huge shitstorm.
Shitstorm for who?
Everybody, because Palestinians are going to be pissed off. You're probably going to see demonstrations across the Middle East in Arab countries because they're going to be pissed off.
The problem I have is they're living in Israel, technically. This piece of land, if we were looking on a map at where this piece of land is, it would say Israel, no? No. What does it say?
The West Bank is just called the West Bank. So, like, if you're...
Nothing in this world makes sense to me.
Right.
Like, it has to be owned by someone.
I think the UN owns parts of Jerusalem. It's very complicated.
It shouldn't be.
There's a lot of history there.
This is crazy.
So
I just think, like, why bother them? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is in this land that they need so bad?
The Israelis?
The West Bank. Yeah, what is in the West Bank that they want so badly?
There's a lot of religious. So, like, I'm not an expert on Judaism, so if I'm wrong,
neither.
Sorry. There's a lot. Israel is referred to as like the promised land to the Jews.
Right. No, I know that. Yeah.
There are like very Orthodox Jews in Israel who believe that all of this territory is theirs by like God's will.
Okay.
Which I am an equal opportunity hater of extreme religion. So
I'm not going to tell you what to think. Like, think whatever you want.
So
I'm here to just listen.
That's why the super Orthodox, and a lot of it is politics too, right? So Israel's a democracy.
Well, in my mind, I understand Israel being like, I kind of think that we should own this because, like, it's on your fucking land. Like, I get it. But
at the same time, like, Israel existed like 3,000 years ago.
Right.
So if by that standard, we could go back and be like Native Americans could be like, well, actually the United States shouldn't exist because
which is true.
Which we lived here, but like, are they gonna, like, we're not just gonna like dissolve the United States of America. You know what I mean? But like,
we should. Listen, don't hit the iPad.
Sorry.
I think it's not worth starting a war over because it doesn't really seem like they need it. No. I think that it just is unnecessary. Like, to me, it just seems like such an unnecessary thing. Like, if everyone is just minding their own business, I don't know why you need it. If it had, like, gold and diamonds, I'd understand.
It's way more complicated to that, because if you're a Palestinian, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, people alive, this all happened in the 40s.
But are Palestinians trying to take back Israel as, like, a whole, like, country?
Okay, we'll go back to World War II.
Oh my God, we don't have enough time.
We have time. If you're a Palestinian, you're living in Palestine, right?
Yes.
You live on wherever. All of a sudden, the United Nations comes in and says, hey, the Holocaust happened. That was really bad.
Yeah.
So we're going to give Jewish people a home state, and we're going to do it here. If you're a Palestinian, you're going to say, wait a minute, why are they taking our land? Yeah. We didn't perpetuate this. those were the Germans in Germany. They didn't take a slice of Germany and say, hey, because of what you did in the Holocaust, we're going to give...
Yeah, that's weird. Why'd they do that?
Because it's the ancestral home of Judaism.
No, well, I see the reasoning.
But, like, that's... I don't think that's a good reason, personally.
But, like...
I don't care about your religion.
Shouldn't the war be with the UN in the Palestine and not Israel? Because, like, Israel... Like, these were just people that got the shit end of a fucking stick for 2 years.
For sure.
And got land. Like, you were handed this. I'm not going to say no to fucking land. So, yeah, I take
and
it.
Then
the Palestinians, you could be mad, but, like, be mad at the UN, not me. I didn't choose this.
But they still took the land.
Who wouldn't?
That doesn't make it right. Does that make it right?
It doesn't make it their fault.
Yes, it does.
No,
they
the
didn't
fault
have to go
comes
there.
at the UN deciding that your land was now someone else's. That is their decision.
But if you know something's wrong and you still do it anyways, you're still wrong. Like, you can't...
But they have a logical reason of being there.
But that's such a bad... My ancestors lived here 3,000 years ago, so it's mine now.
But
so, like,
they
you sell
didn't decide that it was there.
If I sell my house, I can just go back randomly 3,000 years later and say, hey, my great-grandfather lived here, so this is mine now?
I didn't say that, but
that's where you're going.
It wasn't Israelis being like marching into Palestine, being like, "This is mine." It was the UN being like, "We're taking this for them."
They didn't the UN didn't come in and say this, and everything was fine. Like, they had to fight. They fought for this land.
Okay, so
they made a choice. They made a choice to fight for.
Oh, so they fought with the UN for this land. So they fought people for this land.
The UN...
They weren't just gifted
So, like,
this land.
the UN announced this, and then they started showing up, and the Arabs were like, whoa, this isn't cool. Like, what is this? We have no say in any of this.
Yeah, I mean, I see the issue, but isn't that, like, literally how all of everyone's land has been decided?
Which is true, but this isn't like Alexander the Great's Greece. This is like modern, legal-based international relations, right? So it should be more complicated, and I think a little bit more nuanced than, well, I'm here, I have a gun, it's mine now, you know?
No, I don't agree with taking the home of people who are settled. Like, I don't agree with that. I think they should just mind their own fucking business and stay on their own fucking side.
Right.
But I can't, like, nothing's going to stop them. If they're going to go to war for this land, they're going to go to war for this land. It's whether or not there's going to be people to back them up or not. But it doesn't seem like Palestine is big enough to win.
No, it has no conventional way.
So it doesn't, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how are you fighting for something that you technically own?
The Israelis or the Palestinians?
The Israelis. Like, if Palestinians have no rights, really, over this land besides the fact that they live there, then what is the other side even fighting them for?
Because politically, it helps right-wing governments in Israel. Because the super Orthodox people are conservative, right?
Yeah.
So conservative governments support the ultra-conservative Jews who want to move into settlements. So it makes them say, oh,
do the Palestinians vote for Israeli governments?
Arabs, there are Arabs who live in Israel, but they're like black. It's like being black here in the U.S. There's like a small sliver of Arabs living in Israel.
Listen, I don't think I have the capacity to connect the dots on this. I really am. I don't know what's right.
We could do, like I said, I am not an expert on this. There are thousands of books about this. This is the
first I'm hearing of it.
This is the most controversial.
It seems absolutely crazy.
Strip of land.
Absolutely.
Right.
To me, it always seemed like it was rightfully Israelis. Like, in my mind, I grew up thinking, yes, it makes sense. Like, Judaism, yes, Israel. Like, connected.
That's where it's from.
Understand.
But
I didn't know that it was just decided in, like, 1945 that it was their land.
I think it was 47 they decided to partition.
I didn't realize that it wasn't Israel until then. Like,
there was no
life, it was always been Israel.
There's no entity of Israel until 1947.
This is news to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of history there. I advise you to read up about it.
Yeah, but can we please talk about something else?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to throw it all the way back to 2009.
Oh,
Not
the good old
exactly
times.
1947, but at least we were alive.
Barack Obama was president.
And Jenna Marbles was on YouTube.
Oh, Jenna Marbles.
So if you were me, you watched Jenna Marbles when she put out videos every Wednesday.
Did you watch her when she was on Barstool still, or?
Huh? I didn't know she was on Barstool.
She started on Barstool.
No. I watched her on YouTube when I was, like, a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And it was, like, my first experience, like, with YouTube. Like, I watched, like, her videos and, like music videos. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really nothing else. But she, to me, was, like, one of the first, like, vloggers, you know?
Big time.
But she didn't do, like, a day in the life. She did, like, funny videos.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of her videos.
But she is, after 10 years on YouTube, is taking a step back because some of her old videos have come under some heat. She did, like, an old video kind of making fun of, kind of insulting Nicki Minaj, but she dressed in...
She went black. Did she go blackface, or did she just dress up?
She went bronzer, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, a lot
of bronzer.
Okay. Like,
bronze. She went bronze face.
She went blackface.
Bronze.
But, like, not, like, with makeup. You know what I mean? Not, like...
She didn't do a full
face
body.
paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's bad. If you look at it today, you're like, ooh. But I do remember seeing it back then and not being like,
caring. Yeah.
This is crazy. But she posted a video on her YouTube channel on Thursday. She has 20 million subscribers, which is just fucking crazy. And she was pretty much explaining that past videos have come up and they've offended people. And she's been privatizing, like, her old videos. Like, pretty much just, like, not taking them off, but, like, no one else can see them. And people were kind of giving her shit for that. And she was saying, like, I privated my old videos because I'm not proud of them. Because they're embarrassing and I don't agree with them. And it doesn't show the growth I've done over the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So... She was like, oh, I'm sorry if it holds nostalgia for you, but it's not who I am today.
I'm not proud of this.
And I don't want this on the internet. If it's going to offend someone, I don't want it to exist, is really what she's saying. So she essentially is, like, after 10 years, like, loyally 10 years, every Wednesday, she is no longer. She, in quotes, said, I think I'm just going to move on from this channel for now. I don't know if that's forever. I don't know how long it's going to be. I want to make sure that the things that I put into the world are not hurting anyone. And I'm just going to stop for now. And I guess a lot of people are, like, expressing opinions on both sides. A lot of people are like, you can easily just do, like, your podcast and your cooking videos with, like, her fiance and not have to be, like, doing the every Wednesday videos, all this different content, you know. I don't know. I mean, we were talking a couple weeks ago about scrubbing accounts, like, you know what I mean? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that shows growth. If you can look at something in the past and be like, yikes, that's fucking awful, delete, that shows that you have grown up. I don't think it's inappropriate to privatize or delete old things that you're not proud of. Like, isn't that, like, your right as your page? Yeah, no, that's definitely your right. I think it, again, I'm not personally offended by... Like, I'm not who I was at, what was I, 10 years? 17? Like, please.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't like retroactively going back and being... Like, there's something, like, okay, we talked about the dude from That 70s Show last week. Like, obviously... Something like sexual assault is wrong all the time. There's no, that's wrong.
Right.
You should be canceled for things you do like that whenever it happens.
Yeah, but technically at the time she put these out, no one had a problem with it.
Right. That's why I'm saying there needs to be like a 1 to 2 year statute of limitations.
Yeah. I just think that...
On being canceled.
I think that you have to kind of keep up with the times. And if that means taking down things that today are not appropriate and you can recognize that they're not appropriate, and if it makes you as the person who put it out there uncomfortable to see and you're like, wow, that is not me, I don't want that associated with me, that is just your right to take it down.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
I think that she is
I wouldn't even say anything about it. Just take it down. Why make the fanfare?
Because people were
it?
like trying to go back and watch old videos and being like, Jenna Marbles privated. You know, people on the internet, they're just fucking awful.
I don't know. I think we do too much kowtowing to people who are idiots on the internet.
I think that she should privatize anything that she believes she should privatize because that's who she is as a person.
Right. It's her intellectual property.
Like, I think that people being mad about her privatizing things, if you think it's just so she won't catch flack, like, I think you're missing the message. I think that it's truly because, like, she's embarrassed by these things. And I think we've all been there, considering we literally were 13 when we had social media. Like, please.
Yeah.
We've all had some questionable things.
Yeah. That's what's so ironic about all of this. Like, I guarantee every person who's ever tried to cancel someone for something has said something problematic at some time.
Absolutely. I've definitely said things in my past where I'm like, I would never fucking say that today.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
For sure.
Same goes for me. But I like saying things that are, quote, problematic because I think they're funny. But I don't do it to, like, just be problematic. Is my defense.
No, and myself. I don't think most people do. I think most of it is just you're immature when you're young. You're
young and you're dumb.
You think stupid things are funny.
I'm 28 and I'm like barely an adult, so.
Ain't that the truth?
Okay, you can leave. Anything else? Was that?
No, it's your turn because we have 2 stories in 15 minutes. So.
Getting the behind the scenes information here. All right, so we're talking about a local story.
Local.
DC is on its way to statehood. Maybe.
So
the House of Representatives voted 200...
So now we'll be 51 states?
The House of Representatives voted 232 to 180 to approve DC statehood, but that's unlikely to pass the Senate. So DC residents pay federal taxes, right? But they get no representation in Congress.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's pretty messed up.
They should just be split to, like, Virginia and Maryland if you're going to do it like that.
So
if you live in D.C., you don't vote?
So you can vote,
You can only vote for D.C. matters.
No, D.C. gets 3 electoral college votes. So you can vote for president, right? Mm-hmm. But that's only 1/3 of our government, right? So in the House of Representatives, I think they have what's called a non-voting member. Which means, like, they're part of Congress, but they can't vote. Yeah,
and she can't do anything.
Which is the most useless thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not... They have no senators at all.
I just think it's weird that, like, D.C. even was a thing to begin with. They should just... Well, because they didn't want anyone to have ownership over the Capitol.
Right. But now the problem with that is there's now 700,000 people living inside of D.C.
Yeah.
Who don't have Senate or actual congressional representation.
Yeah, like, I don't know how they didn't think that this was, like, eventually going to be a problem.
DC was nothing when they created it, right?
Yeah, but it's been growing ever sinse. So it's like you eventually knew this was going to happen.
They probably should have known, like, hey, if you build a capital city, it's going to be a big city.
If you build it, they will come.
Do you even know what movie that's from?
No.
Field of Dreams is the movie. It sucks.
Baseball but it was
sucks.
A good reference.
So here, I got some stats for you. 700,000 or so residents of DC. Mm-hmm. So that's more residents than Vermont and Wyoming, which are both obviously states.
But, like, makes sense because they both suck.
They both suck. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Alaska have about, like, less than 100,000 more people.
Wow.
So, like, I think Alaska's the highest with 800,000. And then South Dakota and North Dakota.
DC's definitely, like, very populated.
Right.
But it's also, like, all, like, high-rises and apartment buildings.
Yeah, it's obviously very densely populated.
It's not, like, residential.
Right. So, yeah, this is... The reason this isn't going to happen is because the Senate is controlled by Republicans, and they don't want D.C. to be a state.
Because then they'd have to pay taxes and stuff?
Well, no. If D.C. becomes a state, then they get 2 senators, right? And
then they have more say, and it's, like, gentrified and democratic.
Right. Republicans can't win votes by putting forward good ideas, so they have to make sure that your votes don't matter.
Right.
So we've talked about this all the time.
All the time.
We literally talk about it all the time. So yeah, it's...
I mean, I don't disagree that they should be a state. I just think it's, like, gotta be a hard thing to sell.
Well, it's actually... maybe, and
Like,
probably...
I don't really care. Like, sure.
Right, we
Go
don't live
ahead.
in D.C., we don't...
Like, it doesn't fucking matter to
The
me.
problem, one of the problems is, in like 20 years, an election, like the 2040 election, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going to have a scenario where, like, the Democratic nominee could win the popular vote by, like, 7 to 8 million votes and still lose the election.
Which is why it should be off the popular vote, like a real...
Right, like, the Electoral
Democratic.
College is stupid to begin with.
It's not a democracy.
Right. The problem is, if you have a political system where the majority of people are voting one way,
Yeah.
and then continuously losing, that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Civil war.
Yeah.
But
But, like, they're doing that now, and we're aware of it.
Right.
So it's like, it's a matter of time. So it's either, like, you change it to popular vote,
right.
or we fight.
It's going to be a building powder keg. So if you take the presidential election out of it, in the Senate, you could have... I'm sure right now there's millions more people voting for Democratic senators.
Yeah.
But they have a minority of power inside of the Senate.
No, it's just another way for, like, white people to keep power. Like, white Republicans.
The Senate favors rural states that no one wants to live in, like Iowa and Wyoming.
And they give them all the power.
Right. They have a disproportionate amount of power compared to the others. So
stupid. It should go by, like, population.
But then you have to take away...
all the cities would win. Like, why are... Like, the amount of votes that you count should go by population.
I think votes should just be votes.
Right. I mean, yes.
One vote should be one vote.
Absolutely, and it should be whoever wins, like, every other fucking election you have in your entire life.
Right, exactly. You know who's pissed off about this? Who I assume is pissed off?
Who?
Who's throwing some shade right now?
Who?
Puerto Rico. Because Puerto Rico...
technically is part of the U.S. And they're like, what about me?
Puerto Rico has a population of 3 million people.
And we just kind of, like, own them and, like, leave them there.
Yes, so Puerto Rico's in the position of they should either be their own fucking country.
They should be their own country, 100%. But, like, do they want that?
Is it
easier to be under U.S. rule? Because it might be.
There's benefits of being... because they're automatically U.S. citizens, so you're not going to vote to not be a U.S. citizen. But they should have... that's 3 million people who don't have...
they don't vote in our elections, do they?
They vote for... they get electoral votes for president.
Yeah. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, they're citizens. So they...
so, like, St. Thomas and stuff, do they vote for the president?
Yeah. I don't know. I think their electoral vote might
How much of us affects them?
What do you mean?
Like, how much of what we do affects like the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico? I never really thought about it.
They're part of our country, so they like the hurricanes that hit.
Well, no, yeah.
I mean, the response there was when that hurricane hit Texas. The response was a lot different than when
Puerto Rico got destroyed.
Puerto Rico got destroyed multiple times by multiple.
That's
hurricanes.
what I mean. So, like, if we're not going to help them when they need it, then why do we?
That's why a lot of people in Puerto Rico are saying, "Why are we not independent?"
But then, wouldn't they need their own military and stuff?
That's another problem. They would have to
like redesign their whole system.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
Making it a state
is easier.
But again, Republicans don't want brown people voting. Right?
I can't.
So
brown people are voting whether they like it or not.
You'd be surprised. They will try whatever they can to make sure brown people don't vote.
Oh my god. I will try everything I can to make sure brown people do vote.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of, like, stupid arguments about why DC should not be a state. And they're all basically, well, no one there's ever going to vote for us being Republicans, so we should not make them a state.
Okay, so then when we vote Biden and we'll revisit and, like, it will be fine.
Right. An article I read said one of the biggest mistakes of the Obama administration was not doing this
before.
Like when we had control, when the Democrats had control of everything.
Well, the Republicans won't have control forever, so.
That's true. It should be something that should be done. It's if you believe in democracy, right, you should support DC being a state. Like, there's no... if it helps you or hurts you, it doesn't matter. They are tax-paying American citizens who do not have the right to vote for a senator.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's absurd.
That's absurd.
So...
agreed.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. It probably won't happen, but...
eventually it will, though. It's only a matter of time.
It will.
If it doesn't happen now, it will.
What are they going to do with the flag, you know? What are they going to do with that extra star?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
We'll figure it out. Okay, my last story is, like, honestly, like, nothing. It's just the Emmy Awards were yesterday.
Really?
Friday, yeah, CBS. They were virtual, hosted by The Talk, the girls on The Talk.
Who's on The Talk?
Eve, Carrie Ann Inaba, Sharon Osbourne, Cheryl Underwood, and Marie
So, like,
Osmond.
the show Joan Rivers was on, right? Those people?
Sure.
Okay, I don't.
So I mean, like, Emmy Awards is, like, daytime TV, which is, like, soap operas and stuff.
I thought Emmys were all TV.
I think it's daytime TV. So stuff that's on, like, during the day. Like soap operas and the stuff you don't watch.
I'm pretty sure, like, other shows win Emmys, though.
Like talk shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's daytime TV. That's what it is.
I thought it was, like, all... Which one has... So, like, what does Game of Thrones win a bunch of awards in? Like, the Golden Globes? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Are you questioning me on pop culture, Andrew? Anyway, I
Says
didn't...
the girl who saw Star Wars, like, a month ago. Okay. Anyways.
But my thoughts were valid. Anyway, I only went to the, like, morning show, talk show, game show ones because, like, we don't watch soap operas, and I'm assuming no one listening watches soap operas because...
We're under the age of
anyway,
100.
if you wanted to know, General Hospital won, like, everything. So, spoiler. Okay, so best talk show and entertainment. It was The Talk, live with Kelly and Ryan, Kelly Clarkson Show, Strahan, Sarah and Kiki, GMA3, I guess is the name, or Ellen DeGeneres won. And then best talk show host. So again, Strahan, Sarah Hines, Kiki Palmer, Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest, Maury, people from The Talk. Kelly Clarkson won.
Ooh.
Yeah. For her talk show.
Oh, I didn't know she... Okay.
You didn't know? Oh my god, it's great. The Kelly Clarkson Show.
I just knew she was... Is she still on The Voice? I don't know. I don't watch.
Yes, she's a judge on The Voice.
Okay.
But she has a talk show too.
Okay.
And then for informative talk show, we had Rachel Ray, Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. Third Hour of Today, which I've never heard of. Today's Show with Hoda and Jenna, and The View won. I think they, like, always win.
That's the one with Whoopi and...
Yeah.
Meghan McCain and...
Yeah.
So.
For best game show,
Jeopardy.
on the list is Jeopardy, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Double Dare, Family Feud, Price is Right. Jeopardy won.
Jeopardy is the best show ever.
Oh, it's great. For best game show host, we had Wayne Brady from Let's Make a Deal, Steve Harvey, Family Feud, Alfonso Ribeiro, Catch 21.
Trebek?
Pat Sajak, Wheel of Fortune, Alex Trebek, Jeopardy. Alex Trebek won.
Yeah, come on.
Of course. Yeah, so those are the only ones I highlighted because, like, the only ones that I care about.
Gotcha.
But I'm glad Jeopardy won. I'm glad that Kelly Clarkson won for best talk show host.
Going through divorce and all.
And because, like, I think she's nicer to her guests than Ellen DeGeneres. Sometimes Ellen's, like, puts people down a little bit. Like, she lifts up, like, non-celebrities. But the celebrities sometimes, I always feel like she's almost, like, making fun of them.
I don't feel bad for celebrities.
I know you don't.
I don't.
I feel bad for, like, everyone.
I do not feel bad for, I don't know, Khloe Kardashian.
But, like, Tristan Thompson cheated on her when she was pregnant with Drew.
Tristan Thompson sucks. That's what you get for dating a B-list NBA player.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. The barbacoa smells, like, really good. And
we're making barbacoa. I made barbacoa.
Yeah, Andrew made barbacoa.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well,
check out the YouTube page.
Check out the YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a
no.
follow
just
on
watch
Instagram and Twitter. What else? Give us a review. 5 stars. I'm just trying to mimic everything I hear all the time. Okay. Well, see ya.
Peace out.